I did respect him. I don't respect him anymore because he say I'm not gonna do what they want me to do and this and that.
There's no chance. But then I watched it the next month. I was like, he actually did way better than I thought he would have did. But please forget, Jake Paul rostered Ohio State roster, so he's tough. He's not as good boxer, as good skill, but he's tough.
Jake Paul beat Anthony Joshua. That's insane. That's not real. That's not real in any facet. There was never a chance. There's never a chance.
Canelo Alvarez didn't hold back after Jake Paul's fight with Anthony Joshua, openly criticizing him and questioning his place in boxing. Canelo said Jake should stop acting like a true professional fighter, arguing that he stepped into a level of competition far beyond his ability. He mocked Paul for trying to imitate real boxers instead of accepting what he actually is, suggesting that his boxing efforts shouldn't be taken seriously. According to Canelo, Jake's run in the sport came off as more embarrassing than impressive, and he made it clear that Paul shouldn't pretend to be something he's clearly not.
You need to do your best, or do what you do, not try to be something else. Just do your best as a person. Sometimes it's enough, sometimes for...
Dillian White admitted that Jake Paul never truly had a chance against Anthony Joshua, though he was surprised Jake managed to last as long as he did. He said Jake showed real toughness, likely coming from his wrestling background, and survived by fighting cautiously rather than trying to push for a win. However, White believes this is where the journey should end. He warned that taking repeated heavy punches, suffering broken jaws, and stepping into severe mismatches is simply too dangerous. According to White, that kind of punishment isn't smart or sustainable.
But then I watched it the next month. I was like, he actually did way better than I thought he would have did. But please forget, Jake Paul rostered Ohio State roster, so he's tough. He's not as good boxer, as good skill, but he's tough. Wrestling is a very competitive sport in America, and to be a Ohio State wrestling level, you have to be physically tough and physically strong. So yeah, he was tough. That's why he survived in there. He did what he had to do in there. He got tagged with a few shots, and he did extremely well. AJ did poor.
In those situations where the fighter is that negative and had those kind of tactics, he went to ground a few times, etc. I don't think people quite understand it. It doesn't matter who you are, it's quite difficult. People expect AJ within 20 seconds to literally, with the first punch thrown or the first jab thrown, just to knock him out. It's not that easy, is it, when a fighter is kind of going in there to just survive?
It's always easier to beat someone that's coming to win than someone that's in there to survive. But they should have known that. They should have known that Jake Paul is never going to come to win. But it's just mad that AJ couldn't cut the ring off. He just made him run. He couldn't cut the ring off and hit with punches, and he was swinging and missing a few times. And obviously Jake Paul was hitting with a few punches. I was like, I was surprised that I was surprised that it took so much rounds to get him out of there. And then when he did knock him out, he didn't knock him out. He broke his jaw and stuff, but Jake was alright. He just sort of got up and just said, my jaw is broken. He didn't get sparked. I was kind of surprised. I was very surprised. Because that right hand was a big one. I thought, damn, okay. He took it and get up. So maybe Jake is a physically tougher and stronger person than people think he is.
I'm assuming you don't blame Joshua for the money being talked about, 40-50 million, for doing that. No.
No. I'll take that. I'll definitely take that. I'll fight Jake Paul next if he wants it. I'll take that. But I'll go after him though. I'll tell you what, I'll definitely put him away 1 or 2 rounds. No way he's getting past that. Because that's like that's such a big moral victory for Jake.
Canelo Alvarez admitted that Jake Paul has clearly improved since his early fights. He pointed out that Jake now shows better technique, timing, and toughness in the ring, and said his dedication is obvious. Still, Canelo believes this is where Jake should stop. In his view, Jake has already taken on more than he should by facing opponents far beyond his level and putting himself at serious risk. Canelo stressed that continuing down this path isn't smart, and that Jake has done enough to make his point. Now, he says, is the time to walk away while he still can